Hello there. In this video, I'll do 2 ways of analyzing and outlining of an English A Language and Literature Paper 1. This past paper is the long-awaited and the newest 2023 May exam one. Hope this outlining practice can give you an insight on your English A revision. Then let's give it a go. All right, here we are, given the latest English A Language and Literature exam paper. And this one is a non-written text. Yes, the following text, no diet, no detox, how to relearn the art of eating. Yeah, this is an opinion column taken from the Guardian UK, okay? And it is written by B. Wilson, who is a food journalist. Okay. Next, we have to check the guiding question. How does this article persuade the reader to rethink their approach to food and eating? How does the article persuade? And the purpose is to rethink. Okay, then given the assumption, no, actually it's not an assumption because I actually have read and dissected. But anywho, given the assumption that you guys also have read, understood, and like dissected the content of this column, so let's give a go for the first way of outlining, which is going to focus on main purposes of this column. Before that, I need to check the intro content. First, the source of the column, which I already have said, title, who wrote it, where does it come from, things like that. Target audience, I can identify them as English speakers who are interested in content on lifestyle and well-being, especially food, nutrition, things like that. Purpose, I'm going to rephrase the guiding questions given purpose to deliver a new approach of understanding food and changing our eating habits. Thesis, I'm going to present my thesis according to 3 different purposes. Here we go. The column adopts eloquent strategies of appealing the new way of eating via focusing on its 3 different core purposes. First, intriguing. Second, alarming. And lastly, calling action. You can expect what's going to be written in this outlining according to this thesis, right? The column first intrigues the readers. And also it is engaging readers. With what? With relatable thoughts about present-day food consumption and eating habits. I have multiple evidences that I could support this purpose. First of all, the tone itself is quite colloquial. I have brought a quote from the article. Also, there are lots of language devices that support the purpose. First, it is using pronoun we, because I could even relate to some of the contents, such as, oh yeah, I felt the same way. And I also felt that something is not very good in my eating habit as well. So I guess the writer is engaging us by using the pronoun. Also, it is giving us some interesting similar. It is very relatable by checking this irony. By getting this irony. So we try to eat more vegetables. Yeah, we feel like that's the right thing. However, we do not try to make ourselves enjoy vegetables more. You know, we just eat it because it's a type of duties, I guess. You know, these are the evidences that I'm going to use to resonate the first purpose. Second purpose is to alarm the problem because something is going wrong with them. Our eating habits. We need to change it, things like that. So the journalist, B. Wilson, is going to alarm and note in what ways and why food consumption has been misguided and misunderstood amongst us. So the writer uses very interesting diction, says uncannily homogeneous taste, weirdly homogeneous taste. Like we live in all different cities where we all live in different cultural backgrounds. We live in very different cultural backgrounds. We live in very different locations. However, we have uncannily homogeneous taste. Why is it the case? Are we supposed to have different taste? Because we live and we consume different things or things like that, right? And To be more persuasively alarming, the writer also casts the logos from the two scientists' research. Also, there is an additional irony saying, despite their illusion of infinite choice presented by the food manufacturers, infinite. However, they deliver a monotonous flavor, which is a problem. Yeah, these are the evidences to support the second purpose. Last purpose is to call an action. We need to make a change. We can't sustain this way. That's not very healthy. So the writer calls an action of making fundamental changes on approaching food and establishing new eating habits from the very childhood. So to make such fundamental changes, you need to be more like appealing and strong, you know. So the writer is casting rhetorical question of questioning us. Also, there is interesting onomatopoeia, somehow doubtful or like somehow feeling grave about the current situation. Right. Also, I can say the writer's tone itself is very impressive. The assertive tone can be supported from the repetition of we have to. Yeah, so we can see the determination of the writer. That's the details that I'm going to present for the body 3. In conclusion, along with the repraising of the thesis, as always, I need to do some critical evaluation, such as what could have done better. You know, first evaluation that I would love to point out is that the article would have been much more persuasive if there were a few practically applicable changes that can be adopted on our table or in our meal plan to actually apply the new approach that the writer is suggesting, you know. And within the same line, I want to be a bit more specific. The article would have been much more appealing to the wider audience if there were some ways to change the eating habit for adults too, not only to the kids, you know. So maybe the writer could have suggested some tips that could be applicable to the people, the adults who like to change their eating habits from the very basic level or from the very habitual level, you know, then it would have been much more helpful and appealing, I guess. All right. This is the very end of the first way of outlining. Then let's move on to do the second way of outlining on this text essay. Intro contents are the same above, except the thesis. For this outlining, I'm going to focus on 3 features. So the thesis is saying that the column adopts eloquent strategies of appealing the new way of eating via focusing on its 3 different core writing features. 3 different core writing features: tone, language, and structuring. Then you can assume what are the 3 body paragraphs contents for this type, right? So one of the most distinctive tone that can be found from this article is the colloquial tone, I want to say. It is very casual and it's very relatable, so it is engaging. Along with the colloquial tone, I could also find the vast use of informative tone in here because the writer has to persuade the readers and somehow raise awareness of the problem. So it has to be much more persuasive by using lots of informative tone. And I brought multiple evidences from the article. And last is to make a change. The writer utilizes a questioning, at the same time, assertive tone. And I can find lots of evidences that the writer is being quite assertive. Obviously, we can't bring all these evidences on the essay. However, I just brought the sake of the deep analysis. We can just pick the core. We can just pick the highlight within the given evidences found, right? Second body, as it is mentioned from the thesis, I'm going to focus on language devices that the writer adopts. It's a read throughout the article. It is really relatable. It is really like, is really resonating with the vast majority of us who have similar eating habits and who feel like something is going wrong with our eating habit, or people who haven't really understood the things before, but now getting to know about it. And logos, we can't skip this device, like logos. Also similar, it's like a comforting shadow. Rhetorical question, onomatopoeia, irony. Obviously, we can't use all of them within the body paragraph, and some of them are overlapping with the content above. So we need to find some like balance to not too boringly overlap with the evidences above and all the evidences below, you know. So firstly, the writer intrigues and engages the readers with relatable thoughts about food consumption, and then also pointing out some eating habits, common eating habits that we all share within our contemporary society. After intriguing and engaging us, the writer is starting to point out some problems that we haven't really deeply noticed before. And lastly, the writer is calling an action. What must be changed? Things like that, right? That we're supposed to bring specific evidences to support each structure. Maybe it can be overlapping with the evidences above, but we need to avoid that as much as we can. Even if it does overlap, it's okay, but less is better, you know that. The conclusion content, rephrasing the thesis, and evaluating the content, the very same one that I did from the first outlining. Yes. This is the second way of outlining the given non-written text, which focused on main features. If you have come this much far to check 2 different ways of outlining with the given text, thank you so much. Yeah, what a persistence. I hope this video will be a help to your productive English A revision. Thank you so much, and I will see you with the new videos that include many more diverse English A text revision. Thank you so much. Bye.